Good afternoon. We want to welcome you back to our UnRuffled Ladies. We are excited and so glad to be back with you. So we welcome you back to our channel this evening. We want you to just uh, come in and chat with us today. We have some uh, just a very good layout that we think is going to be helpful for you. Of course, we're going into the second part of the episode that we talked about last month, the 4 C's of mental health. The 4 C's of mental health. So we definitely want to welcome you this evening. We want to make sure if you have any question that you want to add, please do so. But before we go into that, I just want you to know who I am. I am the host, Dr. Gina. Ned, of course, we have Pastor B with us and Rosla, and our guest, Penny Young. Penny Young. She's been with us a couple times, so I'm sure that you're very familiar with her face. Also, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like and share. That's very important. You just do that for us, like and share. So as I said on the last time that UnRuffled Ladies was with you, just also give you a little bit more about the UnRuffled Ladies, which you probably already know. But it is the UnRuffled mean to be confident at balance, confident at ease and balance. That's what UnRuffled mean. And so this platform is all about reaching out to ladies to for us to learn that it's okay to be transparent in the things that's going on in our life, because the only way that we can move from point A to point B, we got to release what's going on and be transparent. So, hey, get your good seat, get your good cup of coffee, and just sit back and chat with us this evening. Once again, we want to welcome you and thank you so much in advance for being with us. As I said earlier on last month, we talked about the 4 C's, the 4 C's to mental health. And one of the 4 C's that we found out that we would just kind of go over before we go into our topic today, which is talking about mental parenting. That's what we're going to kind of tap in on today, mental parenting. But one of the 4 C's is control. You being in control. That's very important. It's being in control in your life, in your decision, making making a great impact in life. Number 2 is connection. Connection is building and maintaining a strong relationship with others. That's very important. Now, I do want to make mention that we have to be choices on our relationship. We just can't have a relationship with any and everybody. The next C is commitment. Commitment. We're talking about the 4 C's of mental health. Commitment. And the fourth one is challenge. So today we want to tap into uh, uh, parenting. Parenting. So as I said earlier, we have our guest with us. We're so glad to have Penny Young with us today. Yeah, Penny Young with us today, and uh, Felicia Harris and Rosla. So we want them to say hello to you before we get into our topic on today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Penny Young. I am an anger management therapist along as a licensed counselor for chemical dependency, and it's always a pleasure to be on UnRuffled Ladies to discuss these very critical and important topics. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back, Penny. Hello, everyone. Welcome to UnRuffled Ladies Facebook Live. Like Lady Gina mentioned, this is our recap and the second session of the 4 C's of mental health. And today, Penny's going to be helping us to understand how going back to school affects parents and children and how it ties into mental health.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. So glad to be back with UnRuffled Ladies on today. Glad to have our special guest, Miss Penny, back with us again, getting us ready for the school year.
Talking about a powwow.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be a very interesting and juicy topic, I believe, today.
Yes. So
Yes,
we
it
definitely
is.
want you to sit back, relax, ask your questions, and we're going to try to answer those questions as much as possible. Uh, so don't be shy on what you want to ask. You know, every question is very, very important. And once again, I do want to ask you to please share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Rosalind, I give it to you.
So to start off, Penny, we are going to be asking you some questions, and we're just going to be chiming in on some very important key points. And speaking of key points, when it comes to some reasons why kids, have mental health problems, I just wanted to point out uh, two of those particular points before you chime in, Penny. And it simply involves making small changes in parenting can resolve a child's mental health problem. That's a key point. We have 13 we might go over. Penny's gonna, reflect on some of them, but making small changes in parenting can resolve a child's mental health problem. Number two, the number one cause of children's psychological problems, apart from severe abuse and neglect, is parents arguing in front of children. Penny, I'm gonna let you pick up right there.
Okay, so it is very critical and important to know that arguing in front of children can cause a lot of damage. I have personal experience with that through domestic violence, but I also have experienced children as being a PTA president for my children's schools on how arguing in front of children is not cannot be healthy, but sometimes it depends on how it is. So we're not going to rule out say, oh, it's bad, don't do it. No, because sometimes having a healthy argument with your partner, as long as it comes to resolution, is teaching your child to have a productive relationship with their partner when they grow up. So don't think that having an argument is not healthy. It just have to be constructive and consistently in a growing path to show the family that arguments do happen, disagreements do happen, is okay. But on the other hand, the full topic is the mental health of how it affects the child, if in a negative impact in how the arguing is in front of the kids, calling each other names, demeaning, getting volatile. I mean, sometimes it can get very hostile, not just aggressive physically, but aggressive mentally. And if those children are exposed to it and see it, they'll be scared half to death. And they'll go to school and they get angry and they start developing this is how it's supposed to be. When look here, I'm gonna argue with you, and this is how I seen it at home. So you supposed to get this too. And they develop that pattern thinking it's okay when it's not. But on the other hand, too, with the negative aspect, unhealthy, let me just say that they go to school angry because the parents are doing it and they're unhappy and they're scared. So therefore they get into tiffs or sheltered, withdrawn, don't want to talk to nobody. So they're growing up in fear. So it's so much mental health that's in that needs a whole community and understanding, and with not the child focus, it's the parent focus in how to help them to communicate with their children. There's so many factors. It's like a really broad topic, but it's really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Rosalind mentioned when she first came on about as a parent, sometimes you have to, in other words, regroup on your parenting. Maybe you've been parented a certain way and it's not working. You know, how important it is for you to sit back and just kind of regroup on what you're doing, how you're doing it. You know, because most of us think, hey, I know how to be a parent. I don't need nobody to tell me how to be a parent. I can parent my own children the way I want. And that's just not the attitude to have. You know, how important that if we see our kids acting out in a certain way, or we may not notice right away that they're acting out, how important that it is for the parent, because we're talking about mental health as well for parent, and with all the things that's around, we have a lot of issues as well
Mm-hmm.
as parents. But how important it is for the child that the parents will just kind of sit back and regroup on being a parent, how to be a parent. And sometimes you may have to have therapy on how to be a parent.
Exactly.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Talk to us about that.
So y'all have to excuse me. I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm in my office, so when I'm not moving, the lights cut off. Don't think I'm blacked out. It just that's something that happens, and even happen when I do my Zoom call. So please excuse me. But just to let you know, and this is a very important topic because that's deep. Let me take a deep breath on that. Listening. It took me a long time to learn how to listen to my children. Sometimes I think that I listen too late. If we don't listen to our children, however you have to allow them to deliver how they deliver, not how you want them to deliver, how they need to deliver at their level of life. Parents have to understand that just because you're the parent, you have control of what they think and say. You never do. You have to learn how to listen. And when you listen, you can prevent a lot of trauma, a lot of misunderstandings and things of that nature. So I had to learn that. And it was hard because I didn't know how to be a parent. People who say they know how to be a parent, I really like to ask this question. How are you going to know how to be a parent with your first child when you never had one? How are you going to be a parent with your second child when you've never been a parent of two? Two different personalities, and so on and so on. Because each child you have, they're not alike. They're different. And, it's like a multiplicity. I can't think of the actor's name. And he split himself out to be in so many places at one time. Your children are a branch of each and every part of your characteristics of you, whether it's a physical feature and a mental. So being a parent and helping them through their mental stages of life, guess what? This is what I love. You have to remember how it was for you growing up. You have to understand what was healthy for you or what was unhealthy. But the thing is, you can't reinvent the wheel. You have to understand listening, communication is number one with parenting. And I like to add, let me tell you this. I didn't do too well. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be very transparent. I tried my best. And I didn't do well as the communication because I was self-involved trying to make home happy. And home don't just mean washing clothes, cooking, having a partner relationship, and mothering by going to the schools. Communicating with your children to understand. I have a son, and he has a baby, my grandson. And I swear to you, he sits down and he communicates with him thoroughly. He asks him questions. He slows him down. He feeds off of him every day, whether he's in his presence or of his FaceTime. And I admire that about him. And I encourage a lot of parents, take your time to reduce the anxiety, the fear, the scariness, the worry. When my son need to discipline him, my grandbaby knows that something has happened and it was wrong. It's never to the point, I'm in fear. No, he's because he say, I'm going to get you, but let me tell you why. That's how my son does it. And it's admirable, because you wouldn't think a younger generation would do that. Because the mental health is critical. He don't want his son to grow up afraid of his father or anything of that nature. He don't want his son to be afraid to speak his mind or express himself. I have watched that. So I enjoy watching something that I did not quite know how to do for myself. Does that make sense?
That's good. That's real good.
Break the cycle. Don't be afraid of it. Break the cycle. It's okay. It may be uncomfortable, but guess what? When you break the cycle of toxic behavior developing in your children and you don't want them to carry on to it, Guess what? It's rewarding because now they're developing something that you didn't quite get. I'm just saying, I'm
Right,
putting it out there.
right, right,
Mhm.
right. You
Mhm.
know, earlier that school is starting. Some kids is getting ready to start the school tomorrow, and it can be a mental thing because you know you're going to another grade. Some of them is going to a new school. You're seeing new people, new teachers, new principal, new everything. So it's going to be a big adjustment. So a question that I want to ask is, what strategy can a parents use to model healthy emotional control? Now, that wasn't the question I want to answer. I want to ask, how can our parents recognize the signs of stress, of mental health challenge in their child?
A lot of crying, a lot of running away, and just avoiding issues. You know, a lot of you fear. Mommy, I need to talk to you. Just a lot of stuff. It's especially when you start going to school. Not feeling comfortable, kids looking at you crazy, snickering and giggling at you. Oh my God, it's not just when the schools start, but right before the schools, you hanging around the kids you're going to school with, so they talk and gossip and pick and and so now you go to school with them. So now the whole community of that campus is target you, making fun, coming at you, laughing, making you so feel like you're out of place, which is a way of bullying in a sense, and make you uncomfortable to develop a complex that something is wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As experience, I moved from Philadelphia to Texas. That's a culture shock. Two different environments. And it was very harsh on me. And when you don't have a communication to help somebody understand what's going on, how to feel, you don't know how to express yourself, it makes it very hard. And I experienced a lot of bullying growing up. So I'm a very advocate against bullying because bullying is way more worse today than it was years ago due to
Oh,
cyberbullying and text bullying. But it's
yes,
still real. Kids
yes,
didn't kill themselves that much then like they're doing now. You know,
right, right.
so that is a communication that needs to be addressed during the whole summer. Helping the child. You know what? When a child is transitioning from grade school that ends at fifth grade to sixth, to going to middle school, transitioning should be up to, come on, let's go out, let's hang out, let's see what things you want to do. What's your interest? You want to try out for soccer? You want to try? Let's go together. Go with. Don't just
Mhm.
throw them out there. Go with. You know what?
Mhm.
This may be interesting. What you want to do? You want to write? You want to start journaling? Pique their interest because now everything they learned in grade school, they sponge that off to express, self-identify is middle school. Middle school
Exactly.
is when they actually start trying to identify who they are. So if you don't
Mm-hmm.
help them transition with communication, that's going to be very hard. If you don't let them know what bullying means in every aspect, it will be very hard. What cyberbullying means, what sex texting means, what physical bullying is, because a lot of kids who bully are unhappy at home. And they
Yes.
don't have no way to vent it out. So they feel like they need to pick on somebody that may feel like they can control. And they
Mm-hmm.
get it from somewhere.
Mhm. So, do you have any signs that a parent should be looking for, such as mental health in their child? There's a certain sign that we should look, because a lot of times our children come home and they may get something to eat and then we send them to their room or they get their games, and all at the same time, like you said, they may have had a day of somebody just bullied them all day long or what. But what kind of sign that as a parents that we should be looking for, or the parents should be looking for, that something mental is going on within that child?
Well, if a parent is developing a relationship with a child, then they should know if a child comes home from school and they goes right into the office and don't say hi, how you doing? That's like sneaking in. I don't want you to see me, or I'm going through something, or I'm sneaking something, or if they got an attitude, what you want? You know what? You always talking to me. That attitude, things like that.
Mhm.
So this means that the parent really have to be involved to know who their child is, so they can understand those signs when they come home, or when they don't do their homework. All of a sudden, they A's and B's, but now they dropping down to C's and D's. That's a sign. Or they not as interested in those things they say they were at the first start of school. Like they interested in basketball. Man, forget this. I don't want to do basketball. Just change of an atmosphere. Change of friends. Let me say that too. When you notice they start wanting to change their friends and you trying to figure out what happened to an old girl, things of the nature, or change the way they wear their clothes. Let me tell you this. A lot of parents, you got to be involved to understand who your child is and what they're wearing. That's how a lot of kids come home and you don't even know they're pregnant until the baby pops out. You have to understand what is going on, whether they gain weight, whether they lose weight, how the boys acting, if they smelling themselves, as they say, when they start getting on the phone with a lot of girls, they be on their phone. You have to understand if you notice that they on their phone more than usual, you need to check that. You need to check that, see who they talking to. There's a lot of sexual predators out there that pretend they're younger. You have to check the difference, and it doesn't take long. So Dr. Gina, let me just say this. It doesn't take long to know the difference in your child when they start a new school or just going back to school, because it's all about the awareness of the dynamic of the home. Who's aware of the child on a normal day-to-day day-to-day. So when they do come home and they start changing, you know the difference. Then you can be like, babe, what's wrong? If they pop off, say, wait, come on back. Parents, don't take it personal. We tend to take it personal when those kids pop off at the mouth and not realizing something going on. And I'm trying to figure out why. Parents do it all the time. Let some parents come home from work. Sit your behind down. I had a rough day, and not realizing we projected energy off on them. They may have had a great day.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking exactly that. A lot of time when we don't get a check within our own self and our mental health, our own self, it goes down to the children.
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes we can start that cycle ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's so important, like you say, we need to first check ourselves in order so that we can recognize the sign. Yeah. Sometimes we recognize the sign because we never took a check within our own selves.
Yeah. Back in the day, I just want to say I really never experienced it much. A little bit. And so this little time frame I had, I wish I had it, and I wish I raised my kids that way. I tried, but it was unsuccessful because, working parents is working parents. So we lose track of what's really going on inside the home with our children. But it'd be so nice if children could come home with no TV, sit at the table, spend that 30 minutes an hour with their laptops or whatever, today's technology, and do their homework and then breathe on. Just like when we come home as parents, we have to deal with the real world that, okay, work is over. Now we need to cook and make sure the house is straightened up. We can't sit down and just watch TV or chill out. We have to come home and be about that second job and do our homework to make sure everything is smooth. Whether it's sitting at our tablet and laptops and paying bills or just making sure rest of our week is organized. We have to show our children that this is part of the growing up into adult life, to help them transition, to increase their mental awareness, to decrease the mental stress. Show them how to be organized. Show them what the bill book look like. If you're in school, parents, anybody out here, if you're in school, show them how you delegating between work and school and what you have to sacrifice. You can't go out and do happy hours, so sometimes your children can't go out and party unless, when we let you go out, but you got to show me some good grades. Don't even let your children go to work have a hold a job. How are they going to hold a job and they got a C average?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just putting some things out there that I remember growing up or seeing children going through. I even told my sons, you can go to work, but as soon as your grades drop, because he begged me, can't. Baby, if your grades drop, you pull because you got football. Maybe you make up your mind. Sometimes we have to do that. You can't be their friend now. When they get grown and older, and they're out on their own and doing their thing, then maybe you can have a relationship of a common denominator to help them understand adult life. But while they're children and adolescents, there's no friendship like that.
Right.
There's understanding, there's mutual respect, but there's no friendship. And a lot of people talk about that, and me, this is my personal opinion. There's nothing documented. This is through experience. I want to know how my child reacts, if that makes any sense, when they come home from school.
Yeah. I find too, also, just through observation, because my kids are grown now, but I find a lot of younger parents, I might be out in the store somewhere shopping or something, and they, see them with their kids, and it's like it's like they're overwhelmed by just the parenting. And I feel like that many times they need to have some type of support to get them through the time when the child is, the growing years. And sometimes I find myself getting frustrated just watching because I was like, you cannot be friends with your child. And I think a lot of parents feel like that might help their child mentally, but really it's just making things even more difficult, in raising them,
Like, for example, I have an example in my head. Rosalind. Just say, small, quick little skit. Rosalind, hey, how you doing, baby? How was school today, Rosalind?
I didn't want to go to school this morning, so my whole day just didn't turn out good. It just wasn't good.
Okay, baby, look here. I gotta go to work, but we need to talk about it because I really want to hear what you got to say. So I tell you what. As soon as we get home and I cook, we're gonna sit at right here, and while I'm cooking, you can help me cook. We're gonna talk about it and listen to some music, and let's talk about it. So right then, I'm let my child know we gonna talk about it today. Let me tell you something. That is so hard for me. I'm opening my mouth to say that because I really didn't do that much as my sons was growing. So now since they're an adult, is a little bit more challenging because it's like, you ain't got nothing to say to me. So you do have to open that communication, let them know there's a safe place for them to talk and just talk and then relate to them how you was once there too. That's not friendship. That's parenting. You have to let them know that you was a child and you went through your own things that was similar. A lot of them say, oh, well, I don't want to hear that story, baby. Let me tell you something. The life is not reinventing the wheel. It's a cycle that goes over and over and over again. It's just different time. It either repeats itself and within 10 years or, it's just a cycle. It keeps going, and it's going to recycle and come back. So you have to pick up. Parents, please don't make the mistake and not communicate with your children and learning how to do it. Listening to YouTube. You got time to listen to TikTok and Snap and this, that, and other. You surely got time to listen to some motivational parenting videos that's nothing but 10 minutes to understand how to communicate with your children to help them grow a productive lifestyle.
Penny, I just wanted to, and I know you probably have something else, Berlicia, but just real quick, I wanted to touch on some of the things that, you've already mentioned. Number one, some of the symptoms, some of the signs. You mentioned them changing friends, and the changing of those friends might result in them wanting to start activities and doing things that they wouldn't normally do. And I just wanted to remind the parents that that is a time where you still need to administer that tough love, because kids might complain, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't go anywhere, and da 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 da. Well, the fact is that your friends, the ones that do have all of that freedom, those are the ones that don't have nobody looking out for them. Those are the ones that don't have parents asking, where are you going? Who are you going with? What time you gonna be home? How are you gonna get there? I need to take you. But when they get with those friends that has so much freedom, you need to remind your child that in the middle of that firmness, that tough love, that's what's happening with your friends. You got parents that love you and care about you and are concerned about where you go and what you do. The reason why, don't be jealous of your friends that have all that freedom, because they wouldn't have all that freedom if they had somebody giving you what I'm giving you. You see?
Yeah,
that is so good. But I also think that because we as parents deal with mental health ourselves, we deal with mental health, and when we don't check our own self, we really don't know how to deal with our kids. Like she made an example with you. Okay, we're gonna talk about, the first thing our parents would say, look, I have to get up and go to work, so you're gonna go to school. You know what I'm saying? It's because I'm just thinking here, just sitting here thinking about myself and my kids when they was growing up going to school. When I think about it now, being transparent, I had some mental health going on that I didn't even know how to do certain things with my kids. You know what I'm saying? To bring that wholeness, to bring that stability, to bring that 100% confidence, that all is well, to know how to handle things. So I think the biggest thing is, as parents, we need to take a check or a look within ourselves. Then we can look at our children with a clear eye. You know what I'm saying? We can see them out of a clear eye. But until we take a look at our own self,
yes,
and see what's really going on within us, it's not just about taking care of them, putting a roof over their head, putting food on the table. It's way more than that.
yes, yes.
If you really mentor their mental issues, you're missing the mark.
Yeah.
You're missing the whole mark. And we be truthful right here today. Do you feel that you was really in every area? What I want to say, what is the word I want to use? Coached or direct in the right manner.
Yes.
Talked about something earlier about your parents, Pastor B, fighting and how fearful that was. That's a mental thing right there. Well, guess what? They was doing that in front of you because they had some type of mental illness themselves. So we really need to start home with ourselves, and then we can see our children with a clear eye.
Dr. Gina, this goes back.
Before
I'm sorry.
Questions? Do anybody want to ask the questions?
We just had a few comments. We have from Judy, Life Coach Simpson. She said we were talking about I guess we was making some points on transparency. She said great transparency and reflection. And then she said about the children, don't push them away, give quality parenting.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. We can't give quality parenting without us being first.
Right.
In the right place ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Gina,
we cannot about anything that we don't have. Like you said, Penny, you can look back today and say, you know what, I really didn't do such a great job.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, you recognize it and you can say it today. Now, guess what? You got another opportunity with your grandson to do better.
That's right.
I tell kids all the time, I learn a lot from having you guys. Now I can do better with my grandkids.
Exactly.
On to the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Dr.
we had a question. How much communication is too much communication?
Well, that's a good one.
That's real good because you
So,
can't over communicate it.
That's
yeah.
Tony.
So let me. Can I answer that? Can I put my
Yeah.
input on that? So I'm very, I mean, my motto in my head is you can't do nothing with it, but you have to tame it down to your children because they at a different level than you. So you will have to relate to them when you communicate them, you be honest. So, like for example, the father is not around or the mother's not around, and they ask the question. Don't sugarcoat it and lie by say, you know what? They're okay, they'll be back. Let's talk about it. And you talk about it because we don't want resentment from the children as they grow up and the parents do come around because that is a mental health as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? You talk to your children. If they see things that are inappropriate, sexual activity outside the home, being exposed, you talk about, let them know what's healthy and what's not. That's communication. If they are exposed to things at the home that you don't want them to see, you apologize for that and try not to do it again and let that be, no, that wasn't appropriate. I'm sorry about that. You communicate. If you're going through something and you're crying, and the little kids, they say, it's okay, mama. It's okay, daddy. And they pet you because they want you to be okay. But you have to let them know I'm facing some challenges right now. And you refer to them. You remember when you lost your toy and you was afraid that you lost it and that was a challenge. You let them know how it relates and how you understand how it feels. But you don't go in and communicate about your personal business, your sexual lifestyle, or who you smoke with, or who you hanging in the street with. You see how I'm moving? That hood stuff. You don't get like that with your kids because now you teaching them hood stuff.
Yeah.
And then you want to know where they get it from because we all know about that life one time or another. But you don't
along with them. Everybody just doing it right there together.
No, you cannot do that. Because if you do that, then what is a potential you want them to look for? You always want your children to do better than you. I don't care if you're a president of a company. Let their heights go higher. Talk to them about what they want and what they don't want. When they're younger, they may want to be astronauts. When they get older, they may want to do something else. The conversation. Don't sit there and talk them out of it, discourage them. Oh, well, that's too much. No, you communicate with them healthy lifestyle, living, structure, discipline, love, accomplishments, disappointments, stress. You communicate with that. You want to talk about that. Don't talk about your personal business. They don't need to know.
Yeah.
So Tony says, I've kept an open line of communication with my children, but that has led to disrespect at times. So how do you communicate in such a way where it doesn't lead to disrespect?
Boundaries.
I was about to say you have to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
There's
no is no.
Yeah, there are certain things that you and your child is never put you and your child on the same page.
No.
There's respect for them and there's a respect for you.
Yeah, and they'll be mad at you, but they'll be all right. They'll be mad. They want to hold grudges and stomp away. I seen things on YouTube and they made a little skit thing and they got a little series of it when the teenager decided to talk back to the parent and don't want to do what they're supposed to do. They took hinges off the door and lock up the computer and they like, what you doing? Well, since you living in this house, you don't have no privacy. Literally took the hinges off the door, put it in storage, took all the electronic stuff, locked it up in the safe. And until you know that you're the child of this house and we taking care of you, respect it. Otherwise, there's no privacy. Yeah. You can't be scared of it, right? You got boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I believe when it comes, Tony, to that disrespect, That's something that has to be addressed, nipped in the bud. You don't tolerate disrespect, not from your children.
No, you don't tolerate.
Not from your children.
Mm-mm.
Not the first time, and it shouldn't be a second time.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No. My mom had us so in check with the disrespect that now don't take this the wrong way. I wasn't afraid of my mother. I didn't fear her. I knew she loved me.
Mm-hmm.
And she did let us communicate with her. But I respected her so much to the point to where even in my head, I thought about what I was going to get ready to say. And I had to ask myself, is that disrespectful?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So when it comes, opening up communication, like Penny was just saying, you have to allow them to communicate. But like
Have boundaries.
Dr. Gina said, there has to be some boundaries. Like
Yeah.
Penny said, you don't talk to them about everything, but it's different when the child opens up that communication about sex. It's different when the child opens up the communication about drugs and how their heart got broken with a boyfriend at 10 years old. It's like, wait a minute, hold up. Who broke your heart at 10 years old? I mean, so I feel like when a child introduces and initiates a particular conversation, that's the time to have it. You know, some parents say, oh no, you too young for us to talk about that right now. Obviously not. They brought it up.
Yeah.
You have to address it in some kind of way. But no disrespect.
So
None.
at this stage, the young lady who had that question, and I know that's kind of a pickle, and I just want to tell you, it's never too late to set the boundaries. It may be a little bit more challenging than it would have been at first, starting off the kicker. But now, since you are aware of it, I want to say I applaud you. I try my best to be as transparent as I want to be because I want favor from God. Y'all just don't understand. But for this young lady that asked that question, I suggest that now is the time that you get the counseling that you need, parenting skills, to see what boundaries you can start getting on in there. But you have to learn how to say no and talk with different sense of vocabulary, because you don't want that child to disrespect you, keep going, and then hold a grudge and you don't know what it is. You might want to have that very open and transparent. I don't know how old the child is, but might have to have that real open on the table talk. And like, what's the problem? Why are you like this with me? And da 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 da. And you will hear it. They will tell you, whether in words or body language. It's funny. And not funny like laughing at them, but you will hear it. And this is when it's going to hurt, because they're going to say things to you that you probably didn't even expect them to be hurt about or feel like a sense of resentment to you. But at that moment, this is when you can pull back, take your tears to a therapist, mental health doctor, or a church member who's there to talk to you about. We're talking about somebody who's experiencing this. Because sometimes if you go to your friends, girl, I wouldn't let that, and it makes it so much worse. So be selective on when you have that very open, transparent talk with your teenager or something like that. Then, because it hurts.
Yeah.
It does. But
and again, as the child expresses themselves, let them know, okay, I understand what you're saying, but now this is what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a place where you stop and set that boundary.
You're right. You got to have a plan, an exit plan of this is what it is right there.
I understand what you said. I'm glad that in other words, keep that quiet communication going on, but at the same time, take your authority as a parent and say, now, but this is the way that we're going to do it from now on.
And I want y'all to know too, when they have this conversation, their voice may get escalated. Okay, they angry. And you just keep your tone. You keep where you at. This is now where you showing them, okay.
That's right.
I hear you, but I'm not going to meet you where you at. Now, this is where you show them, I hear you, but you got to come talk to me. You ain't got to shout. What you're saying is not is what it is that you feel. Recognize it, baby. I hear you. I can repeat it. I can talk to you about it, but you can't continue to shout. Come on and don't. It can trigger you. It can make you snap, snap, snap. Be a 10, but it's hard. I'm telling you.
You know, this is really, really good. I mean, this is really good because this is reflecting on some grown folks' conversations. This is reflecting on some behaviors like Dr. Gina was saying. Don't feel some kind of way because you have to go get the counseling on better parenting. Don't feel some kind of way. It's okay because it boils down to this. You can't give away what you don't have.
That's right.
You cannot give away what you don't have, and you don't need to feel bad about that. Not at all. Not at all. Right. This is really good because Penny, what the example you just gave, they're talking. Their feelings are getting riled up. They have all those emotions are making their voice go loud and use certain words, right? Don't get upset. She said, stay calm and show them the proper way to have a conversation, right? You know who's done that with me before? I was the one that elevated. I'm the one that went up. But my husband stayed calm. And he said exactly what you're saying. You know what? That makes sense. But right now, I just want you to calm down and explain to me this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. Some parents, this is how you flip the script here. Some parents, when they have that conversation with their kid didn't offend, say anything to intentionally offend you or disrespect you. It was your perception and how you received what they said.
Yes.
You were the one offended.
Yes.
You're the one that got offended.
Right. Yeah. Like, I want to hear your mouth. I just don't want to hear it because it's not going to come out the just good way. They didn't even give them a chance to just blow up. Boom. You know, I'm one of those, you know, and I had to learn. And no, you know what? I'm just letting y'all know. I still have to come out to learn that. That is not we done. No, I actually, when it happened to me through my children, you know what I did, Dr. Gina, Miss Verlissa? I went to a therapist and I cried and I poured out, this is what's happening. I have to have a therapist because I'm a counselor. But when I went out, I dumped and we picked it apart to the point now I'm not as triggered when they open their mouth and they even said nothing yet. You know, I had to learn. I didn't do that too well then, but my stuff carried on from a cycle of PTSD from domestic violence and trauma. So what did I teach my children, my sons? The same thing. So to expect them to be parent, guess what they did? They had to step out the box and learn how to do it themselves because Penny didn't teach them that. So when they go to school, they went to school for the same thing. I went to school and I ran track, played basketball, volleyball, all to escape what I needed to escape. They did the same thing, even though they enjoyed it. They didn't want to be in a toxic home. So guess what? They learned how to cope. But some of, things happen. Drugs come in for a lot of kids. You talking about some signs. When you start seeing grades drop or you start seeing them skipping class and the teachers talking to you, all teachers don't lie on your kids. So, no, he's a good baby. He's a good boy. Yes, he probably is. But he's going through something. Marijuana and other drugs are a way for kids to cope because they angry and frustrated and confused. That has become a mental problem. It's not the drugs that's the problem. It's the mental health that's stressed out and have no outlet. So that is exactly what they're using.
And one of the things I definitely want to keep stressing, a lot of that starts from you as a parent. A lot of the stress that the kids have comes from the parent, the environment that they're around. You know, we talk about how bad these kids are, these kids this and this kids that, But where's the root of it? Where did it come from?
Yeah.
There's
Don't be ashamed.
Another question that I'm going to ask, which is we really not covered, but the question is in what way can parents balance discipline when dealing with a child emotional struggles?
Mm-hmm.
In what way can parents balance discipline and balance discipline when dealing with a child emotional struggles?
Okay. So here we got communication roadblocks. This is the things that get in the way of listening. Okay. You gotta be careful of giving orders, telling a child what to do. Like get back in your bed, eat those carrots right now, or stop talking to the teacher like that. You gotta be careful on how you give orders and let them know exactly a productive way to why they doing it. Yeah, now these days these kids have to have a why. When we was growing up, there was no why, just do it. You know, it's a difference. I've noticed that. Using threats, warning the child of consequences. So you know, you if you don't stop whining, I'm gonna ground you. Well, let them know what's the reason why they whine. Is there something really going on? Are they really trying to get your attention? Preaching, telling a child what he should or ought to do. This is old school. This is my growing up, okay? You have to be careful communicating with your child. You shouldn't talk to your teacher like that. You ought to be nicer to your sister. You have to let them know why. Respect your mother and your sister. You respect the women around you. How about that? Lecturing, trying to influence the child with facts or logic. Giving advice, telling the child how to solve the problem. Blaming or criticizing the child. Making negative comments to the child. Don't do that. Don't ridicule, making and shame the child, making fun of the child. Analyzing, assuming that the child's reasons are motives. Don't think they always got motives. Sometimes they really have a legitimate reason why they have a problem, or why they have a problem with the teacher, or why they have problems with their peers. Consoling, reassuring, trying to make the child feel better about themselves. Help them to understand what's going on and communicate them. Ask questions, trying to find the cause and motives. Humoring and placidity, trying to distract the child. Yes, dear, I know you'll feel better tomorrow. Don't do that, because something is real today. I'm reading these communication roadblocks from Parenting Partnering because I teach parenting and I have this whole curriculum. And this is just some of the things in this curriculum that helps the parents to understand how you communicate, relate, talk to your children without downsizing them mentally and emotionally, and encouraging them. And parents, this also goes to you, because if this happened to you, then maybe you need to stop and sit down and really apply this to yourself before you apply it to anywhere else.
So one more thing with Tony, she said, can you talk about how does social media affect our kids' mental health?
Ooh.
It could be hurtful and it could be helpful. So the thing is, you have to talk to them about that too. I think it's really hurtful when they involve themselves in the World Wide Web and they seeing a whole bunch of people fighting and beating them and kicking them and abusing them and making fun and jumping them in the middle of the street. I think that's terrible. I think it's terrible how a lot of people think it's this fun and game because that's their will of self-expression. That's negative because that influences a child. But just as much as there's negative things on social media, there's a lot of positive things on social media. So counteract it. Sit down and talk to them. When my sons was listening to rap music, the explicit or rap videos, and I bought it because the parent only wanted to buy it, I said, okay, now look at here. Look at here, look at here, look at here. That word BITCH should not be coming out your mouth to any woman. You understand what it means? We talked about it, had a good discussion, and they never disrespected it because we talked about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've had those talks too with my kids, I would listen to the music they listen to see what's going in their ear. And when I would catch a phrase, I'd be like, evidently they don't know what they're saying. And I would use that as a topic of discussion. Let's talk about, let me let you know what you're actually saying when you're singing this. So what you're hearing, this is what actually being said. So once they got an understanding, then they understand, okay, I need to make better choices as to what I'm listening to, what's going in my ear and what's coming out of my mouth.
Right.
I like what you just said there. You listen, and then you made it a topic.
Mhm.
Mhm.
In other words, you made it a topic where we can all sit down and get clarity of exactly what you're hearing and what you're looking at.
Mhm.
A lot of times, these young kids, they just looking at things because that's the thing to do now.
Because you had to, I had to I felt like I needed to educate them to let them know, hey,
Yeah,
this is what's actually being said.
right,
And a lot of times they'd be like, "Why? I didn't know." Mm-hmm.
right.
Now,
Without true meaning of what they're hearing or what they're seeing. So I
Mm-hmm.
like what you just said. Let's listen to it as a parents. See what they're hearing, and then
Mm-hmm.
let's try to make a round table conversation of it,
let me
and
Mm-hmm.
take you.
the knowledge of it, so I can make sure I can break it down to that child
The
exactly.
best time was when we
And
would.
let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what that means, and what you are allowed to go in your spirit. And then at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you still got to have a cutoff of what they can see and what they can't see on social media.
Right. Mm-hmm. And
You
the
still
best
got to,
times was when we were in the car. It was many times when we were in the car riding, because that's what they want to hear, their songs and music. So when I'll be like, "Hold up, did you just hear what they said?" They be like, "No, what? Let me break it down. Let me tell you." And a lot of our talks was in the car because that's what we spent a majority of the time. Because I'm picking them up from school, I'm taking them to school, I'm picking them up from school, I'm going here, I'm going there, and we're always riding in. So a lot of the talks we had was while we were riding in the car.
What you got, Penny?
I need to escalate that to you, Dr. Gina and Miss Verlissa, because you know I'm a security guard and I know time is running out, so let me make this really quick. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a security guard for events. So I listen to this music all the time, rappers, country, you name it. And it's very explicit. They don't filter. Let me tell you something. I even go to karaoke. I need you to do the karaoke. I need you to pull up the full lyrics. You are going to be very uncomfortable. But when you pull up the full lyrics and the music is on, you know, I got the lyrics to this song. And they're going to be like, what? Because they know the lyrics
Mm-hmm.
in full, not the blot out radio blot. They know the full lyrics. And when
Mm-hmm.
you do that, first of all, it's going to become very embarrassing. Second of all, they can't believe that you're having that talk with them. But that's it, because when I'm I'm just saying, listen to the lyrics, read the lyrics.
Yeah.
When you do that and you have that conversation, it's going to bring them to a whole new level because they're going to be like, wow, you know, I just got
Mm-hmm.
busted, you know, like that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because what that does, it helps them to see that you're not just taking that particular thing away without them getting clarity of why.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In other
Mm-hmm.
words, you're not just being a mean parent. You
Mm.
don't want
Yeah.
me to do nothing. You don't want me to be on social media. You don't want me to do this. But you giving them a reason why, and you
It's for
helping them.
their protection.
Yes, it's for the
Mm-hmm.
in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And not only that, sometimes children expose themselves to things that they're not mentally or mature enough to handle. That's why we need to monitor as well.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's an unruffled standing tall joke about keeping the lights on. Okay. But yes, children do expose themselves to things that they're not mentally or emotionally or mature enough to deal with. And we know that. That's
Mm-hmm.
why our monitoring is so very important. It's
Yeah.
like I've told all my granddaughters, what are you going to do? You got the hair, you got the tight clothes, you got the eyelashes, you got whatever else you do to enhance your looks. So at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, do you know how to handle the attention that you're going to attract to yourself? Are you mature enough to handle some grown men that is going to respond to all that enhancement you just did?
Mm-hmm. Not
No,
only
we do not.
that, you have to look forward to as you grow into life. When you start out so young with all this stuff, you don't have anything to grow into. It's you know
Yeah.
you've been there, done that. And then I
Yes.
also want to say a lot of exposing that these children have now. The parents introduce them to it,
Mhm.
and then just once that you introduce them to certain things, then they take it to the next level.
They have to remember that. You're
Understand, what are you introducing your child to?
exactly.
Talk about them being on social media. There's a lot of stuff come across the TV. So what are you introducing them to? Because guess what? It's just kind of like doing drugs. You may just start off drinking, and then after a while, that don't do anything. Then you start doing marijuana. After a while, they don't really do anything. You move to crack.
You popping
It's
pills.
always another level of everything that you get involved in. So a lot
Yeah.
of times we start our children off so young, introducing them to things that they are mentally is not ready for. And so then they take it to the next place. They take it to another level. Any more questions? Go ahead, Penny. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Just to let you know, I'm on the opposite of that, Dr. Gina. Total opposite. I didn't have nobody to teach me that. I started sex at 13, so I was out there on my own. I didn't have a home to do that. I was running away from emotions, mental health. I was running away from a lot of things that that I felt that was unhealthy. So I ran into seeking for love on the streets, which a lot of young girls do and a lot of young boys do today. When they run to looking for comfort and satisfaction and love, and therefore that teaches us things that we're exposed to, and not just the things that are at home. Because at home sometimes it can be really, really good, but because we don't feel that communication and closeness, that we run. So when I ran out there, I was exposed to all that in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And so within that, you said something. What do I look forward to? Glory be to God. I'm a new woman. So yes, I'm looking for, I'm enhanced. I'm better. So the things that I get involved with in the intimacy level is way different than then. Because now I'm not looking for love. I got love in Jesus Christ. Now I'm just satisfaction and companionship for what God has for me. And that's it.
But just
Level.
think about Penny, with you starting out at such an early age because of mental.
Yes.
13. What all that you experienced in between that time and the time you say, okay, I've done it all. Now, God, I want you. You know, how many things that you experienced that you may not have had to experience.
Right.
It was, you know,
it was, it was a lot. It was a lot. But then when I look at these girls right now, and I'm in an area full of prostitutes, and they're real young, the same thing. It's not a different cycle. So
Right.
yeah, I experienced a whole lot. But let me and this I'm to the point now, it's not even no regrets or anything, but to teach these women and young men who go through these things, because now human trafficking is more real than ever, especially in Houston, Texas. They'll let them know, baby, no, you gotta talk to them, let them know I understand. For those who do understand, I understand. This is not the way you're supposed to seek love, and help them to understand motivation and love for themselves, and let them know all is not lost. Even though your communication may not be well at home, it can get better, but you just communication.
Ladies, the time has been well spent. Please, let's address Tony's last question.
Mm-hmm. And that question is, how can we help build mental fortitude in our children?
Can I answer that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a really good question. And one of the ways is practicing gratitude. Gratitude can increase positive emotions like joy, contentment, while decreasing anxiety and depression. Another way is to set realistic goals. Goals that match a child's capabilities can boost their confidence and self-esteem. Another way is acknowledging their feelings. Validating a child's feelings can help them feel understood and cope with difficult experiences. Build a connection. Social connections can help children feel empowered and build resilience. Develop a routine. There's about 3 more of them. I could go on. I'm going to post them in the comments so you can see them. on the UnRuffled Ladies page, okay? Those are just a few.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
She said, thank you. Those are good.
Awesome. And anyone else have any questions on there?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Oh God, the time passed by so fast. We're gonna have to start extending the time. You just in and more. I mean, this hour passed by so fast, but we do want to thank all of you that has been a part of the UnRuffled Ladies today. Thank you so much, Penny. You always bring so much wisdom to the table and knowledge to the table. So we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Most of all, you never turn us down. You never turn us down. So, yeah, yeah. So thank you so very much. Once again, please like and share the video for us, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on every second and fourth Sunday of the month, and so trying to bring topics that would heal the whole family. It's all about healing. If I had known what I knew now, I know I would have been a better parent. But like I say, you know, you live and you learn, but it's never too late to get better. And so that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to get better, so I can not only be better for my children, but be better for my grandchildren and my great grandchildren and children to come. So thank you once again.
If you want to reach Miss Penny, you can reach her at her website.
I'm about to say, Penny, you want to give some information on how to reach you?
Yes, my website is www.standingtallconsultingllc.com. Like I said, I am a licensed counselor for substance use disorder, alcohol and drugs. I'm also an anger management therapist, a court order, or just therapy in general. And I'm excited to say that I soon will be a SAP DOP counselor. That means for a professional substance abuse professional, for those who are truck drivers that fail their drug tests and things of the nature. I'm always welcome to accept people who need somebody to talk to in those categories. Now, I'm not just the regular therapist. It has to be in those specific categories, but I'll be happy to refer you out. And I do take in some insurances. But I thank you so much once again, Dr. Gina and Miss Relissa, and of course, Mr. Ozzy. Yes. My phone number is 346-223-1927. 346-223-1927.
All right. Thank you so much, Penny. And may the blessing of the Lord be upon you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Facebook friend. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.